Hey you guys, it's Dani. Today we are going to dive into movies and tarot. So, I know that there was an older tag that went around, Tarot at the Movies. This was by Paper Moon Tarot that had some prompts to kind of go along with different genres, which is really great. I'm going to link it down below. But this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be in the same vein as Dawn Michelle's Books in Tarot, where I kind of picked 5 tarot decks that reminded me of some of my favorite movies. So let's just kind of dive right in. I don't know how else to explain it. What I'm going to do is I'll post I'll do it on this side, in this lovely blank space. What I'll do is I'll put the movie poster up, and then as I'm showing and talking about it, I'll put some stills from the movie, just to kind of show the vibes, right? Because that's kind of what I chose it from. It's like, what did this deck make me feel like? Like, what movie did it remind me of in its feel, right? So the first one I want to talk about is the Bohemian Gothic Tarot with Crimson Peak. Now, I found that these two went so well together. So well together. It's the same creepy vibes. You know, there is an uneasiness to Bohemian Gothic, and honestly, it just reminds me of this movie. I know that there is a bit more of a, I don't know, Bohemian Gothic feels a little more vampire-esque, but you can't deny the whole feel of it. Bohemian Gothic is really dark, as is Crimson Peak. Like, just the imagery is dark, like, in a literal sense, not in a figurative sense. Like, it's hard to see what's going on sometimes in both, but in that same, like, creepy gothic feel. I just thought that they went incredibly well together. I could see them going hand in hand, because we have this kind of imagery of this haunted house, basically. And if you've watched Crimson Peak, you'll know that, you know, this house feels like it almost has a life of its own. And so I felt that these two would go perfectly together. My next deck, I chose the Black Lily Tarot to go along with Girl Interrupted. So I loved Girl Interrupted. I loved the book. I loved the movie. I swear I've watched it a million times. Here are the backs. There was something so, I don't know, in a way so relatable, in a very unrelatable way. I don't know how best to describe it. It's like the struggles that these girls went through. It was tragic and beautiful at the same time. It was written beautifully. It was performed beautifully. But you can kind of see the imagery and how it, see, are these all upside down? I tried to fix some of them and then I forgot. I don't know. I feel like I can just see the grittiness in this in the same way that you could see the grittiness in Girl Interrupted. They're put bare, right? And there is sometimes a sense of like chaos and freedom. Oh my god. Let me do this. Within both the movie and this deck. And it's like with all the strange tones and kind of splotches of color. I just felt like it really represented that movie for me, where it's like there's an empowering moment in it, but it's also, I don't know, dingy and sad, and almost like you're caught up in something in this like strange world that you can't quite make heads or tails of. And so I just thought that this deck really spoke to the energy of Girl Interrupted. Okay, next one, a little obvious, but I can't help but bring the Dark Mansion Tarot up with the Corpse Bride. And the reason for that, I think the most, is the simple fact that the shapes of the faces really remind me of the characters in the Corpse Bride. I mean, they really do. When I look at this Hierophant, I know that the priest has a more pointed face, but I still can't help but think of Corpse Bride in the same way that all of this imagery just really flows with the movie, as crazy as it is. No, there are no people made of bones, but we still have the same, I don't know, like there's a darkness and a vibrancy at the same time. The images to me just kind of work. I mean, look at that. Even down to the little dog, right? Oh wait, look, we do have our bones. Forgive me. This also reminds me towards the end where like everybody comes up for this wedding and people are reunited with their skeleton and dead loved ones. So there is a whimsy to it. There is a seriousness to it. And it just made me feel like there is no other, I don't know, there's no other deck that reminds me of the Corpse Bride like this one. The shapes of the faces, like I said, were probably the most, like they were the most predominant feature that just made me immediately think of it. And I know, like I said, it's an easy one to say, and it's a little cliche, but they're so true. I mean, look at this guy. Tell me that doesn't look like the villain, right? I don't know. This is a good one. It just, to me, it really suits it. And I really love it. Okay, so this next one, again, these two are probably some of my favorite movies of all time. And I grabbed the Golden Tarot for Elizabeth. So, again, since what, 98-ish, in the 90s, I watched this Elizabeth movie and became obsessed. And so the Golden Tarot just feels like Elizabeth to me. I think maybe because of the coloration, but like there are also some depictions in here that just kind of remind me of different scenes and of different people. I know we're looking at different eras, but still, it still has that feel. Like I can't help but think of the monk that is like trying to take her, whereas like this one, I feel like when before Elizabeth was pronounced queen, she was in this like far off place that they kind of stowed her away in. You know, there are different scenes, like the boat scenes that we see. I don't know. So I know that this one has some kind of religious connotations, but it goes beyond that for me. And even in that, there is a lot when it comes to Elizabeth because of the Protestant Catholic quarrels, right? And so it just, I don't know, it feels like it really embodies the whole vibe of it, the feel of it. It's like things you would expect to see, images you would expect to see around the space, around the castle. And I just really, I don't know, I love this deck because it does make me feel, you know, it makes me have those feelings in general. Like, it feels so, I don't know, like royal, I guess, in a way. Just like this one. This reminds me a lot of a few scenes in there. The deceit. Ugh. I don't know. It just works for me. I just really feel like these two go so well together. In both images and in feels. Like, I can see scenes from the movie as well as just get the whole vibe. Like, even the Nine of Swords, there is a scene where they kind of go and kill everyone in the night in their own beds, or they remove them from their beds, and it just, there's a lot that reminds me of the movie. So that's why I chose this one. Last but not least, I have probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I feel like it's so random. But even as a kid, this was one of my favorite movies. And it's so strange. You could just tell the things that I'm drawn to. It's bizarre. But this is my favorite movie. With honestly one of my favorite decks. So I chose Revival Art and Amadeus. So again, I just feel like they flow well together, especially with all the gentlemen that we have in this deck, that flow so well. Let me hold it and do this, with the movie, and just the different feelings throughout. Like, even this, you know, you see them kind of coming out of the operas and stuff after. You see a bunch of the characters kind of get together and they're drinking and they're kind of all over the apartment, and it's like, even something like this, why it doesn't correspond with this tarot card, it still has that same look and that same feel. You know, we have this freedom, we have these different looks of, you know, people in the operas and the people around him. Everything is very royal in some aspects, you know, that just kind of remind me of the characters and him being in the palace and all of the imagery and the operas that come along, and even when he gets like not so good place, I feel like it depicts that as well. You know, especially pictures like this. It's just like, it feels like it could have came straight from the movie. This one reminds me of his father. This one reminds me of the Emperor. They all get to drinking. And there is a lightheartedness here as well. There was a lot of lightheartedness within Amadeus as well. So it kind of makes me have those feels as well. When he was creating Don Giovanni. This reminds me of a scene where Sansi and Mozart are at this really nice place. He's supposed to be playing, playing. He's not supposed to be playing. He's supposed to be directing the orchestra or whatever. And him and Sansi are running around this really nice place, like hiding under tables and just being raunchy and crazy. And like when I see this person kind of grab her dress as she's going to run, that's what it reminds me of. Some of these remind me of when they were in the wig shop, and just, I don't know, it's just all around. I can see it so much in this. It just really makes me happy. It really makes me happy. So there we go. This one was just short and sweet, you guys. I know we had talked about it, and I was like, I would love to try and find the best decks for some of my favorite movies, and those are the ones that popped right into my head, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If not, that's okay too. Give it a thumbs down. We appreciate you being here regardless. Anyway, you guys, I will see you all very soon. I will have any links that I can to the decks and the movies down below, as well as how to join the Mystic fam, how to get decks and book a reading with me, my Etsy shop, 3 fat readers, all that good stuff is all going to be in the description box below. And I am sending you all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators.